are now listening to the Passion for Wrestling podcast. This podcast is brought to you courtesy of marijuana. Hit up your local drug dealer and ask him about how you can have some marijuana today. Your host for today, episode 1 of this P4W podcast, is the one, the only, the slime god himself, Slug Lord. Thank you so much, Tommy. You're so fucking kind, dude. Thank you so much. That's a great introduction. I'd like to introduce my co-host at the time. Some of you may know him from the page, the man of 1,004 hodes. One of those is himself at night, every night. But I would like to introduce Jameson. Jameson, say hello to the folks.
How you doing, Slug?
That's enough out of you, okay? They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear too much. You're rambling now.
That is it. You know what happens to people who cut me off? That's right. You just made the list.
I was going to say that they got a citation from the local police officer, but apparently I'm wrong. Jameson, welcome to episode 1 of the Passion for Wrestling podcast. And let's not lie to the people. We've actually done this 4 times now, but those previous episodes are never to air because technology is not our friend. Terminator was correct. Technology is not your friend. Go and smash your microwave upon hearing this because it is plotting a takeover on you, much like the technology was plotting a takeover of our podcast. But we're not going to let that happen because thanks to the man in the shadows, Robbie Sex, we're going to get this out to you filthy, mark, good people of ours. You know, these fans, these friends of ours. So I'm going to call them friends. That's what they are, aren't they, Jameson?
They are indeed friends, our listeners, our viewers, our commenters on our Facebook page, and everything else that they do for us.
Did you say Facebook page?
I did say Facebook page, and it's interesting that you said the words takeover, because that is what is currently happening.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had a Facebook. Like, what?
We definitely do.
What else do we have?
As I said, interestingly, that you use the word takeover, because that is exactly what this is. This is a P4W takeover of your social media. So we're on Facebook at Passion for Wrestling, facebook.com/passion4wrestling. If you're listening to this, you've probably seen our Facebook. You probably comment on our Facebook. We obviously have posts go up, articles all the time. We're also on Twitter at P4 Wrestling. We're also on Instagram under the same name. And we even have a shiny YouTube page.
Now, did you say the same name basically across all platforms?
It is indeed. If you search on platforms that just listed, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Passion for Wrestling, number 4, as Ric Flair would do, hold your 4 fingers up, 4 horsemen style. That is our handle on all of our social media.
That's pretty damn convenient. Now, did you also mention a YouTube page? I love the YouTubes. That's where you can watch videos of cats. Who doesn't love that?
I definitely did say YouTube. We do have a YouTube page. We bring out new and new content. We don't have cat videos, but we do have a certain Lord of the Slime going through a table. I mean, it entertains me.
Well, that doesn't sound enjoyable to me, but I'm sure some of the filthy mark fucks out there might want to watch that. Hey, it's the internet and it's 2018. Somebody may want to jack off to that. Who knows? You know, people are freaky these days, and we're not going to touch on that, and we're not going to touch on any of you, even though I have gotten all of your DMs asking for such, and please, I'm not going to lower my standards, okay? I heard that you guys were a part of some kind of YouTube series, like a TV show, if you will.
Definitely. As you know, many members of the Bullet Club are involved in the Elite and have their own show called Being the Elite, which they stole from us. They stole that from us. They besmirched our name. We have a series called Being the Marks, which we did first, not at all influenced by their show because we did it first. They stole it from us. Cody Rhodes, you're getting another cease and desist. That's how this happens. So obviously we had a great storyline on series 1 of Being the Marks, where the slime god, as he calls himself, was looking for Eva Marie. We still don't know her location, and there will be a series 2. Do we find Eva? Do we not find Eva? I don't know. You tell me. You'll have to tune in to see that. We also have other great videos, such as we are currently working on a video of the top 50 wrestlers of 2018. I know we were all involved in that one.
I remember trying to break that list down in the group, and Jesus, that was a civil war of sorts. I mean, there was lost friendships, rekindled friendships. Like it got ugly for a minute there. It took quite a while as well, but if I'm not mistaken, believe we all ended up agreeing on the number one wrestler of 2018 so far.
We definitely did. The top 10 was actually a lot easier to figure out than we thought it would be. We actually argued more on from 11 to 20 than we did on 1 to 10. Number one, as you said, was a unanimous decision. Now, Slug, did you want to share with the fine folks out there who number one is?
Well, I could, but then I'd have to kill all of them, and God knows I don't have that kind of time on my hands. But they can go ahead and wait for the video just like you filthy goddamn Mark. I've told you this like 10 times. Wait for the video to drop, and also, not only is there going to be a video, but there's also going to be an article explaining exactly why each wrestler was chosen for the top 50 wrestlers of 2018, also possibly giving a match of theirs to watch from the previous year, and all kinds of other things coming from this website of ours that I'm not sure if the people know about, but I'm sure you could fill them in as to what exactly is on this, much like Pornhub, but quite different.
Slug, you're definitely correct. The article will go live on our very own website, passion4wrestling.com. On our website, you can find a lot of amazing articles. Our admins all the time are adding new articles. We run down several of the weekly episodic shows. We have several other articles that go up as well. And one of the best things about our website is there is a prediction league.
What's that?
Our very own anarchist.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Now I'm going to run it down for you. So our very own anarchist is in charge of the website and has done an amazing job creating a user-friendly website that's very easy to navigate. And he is also in charge of the Prediction League. Now, the Prediction League, a pay-per-view will be announced and will be coming out. So the next pay-per-view we have coming out will be Crown Jewel. So once the full card is announced for Crown Jewel, the website will then open the Prediction League up for you. And you can go in, put in all your predictions for who's going to win, how they're going to win, and then you get points based on whether you were correct, whether you got the right method of winning, and then after that it all gets calculated up. You go into a league table and you can see, are you beating your friends that are also in the league? Are you beating your favorite admins? I myself, the man of 1004 holds, I'm currently sitting at number one in the table. Can you beat me? Can you knock me off my pedestal? I don't think you can, but we will see. I will take the challenge.
Now, God knows I would love to knock you off that pedestal of yours, but the only problem is I'm just now finding out about the Prediction League right now. How long is this season? How long am I going to have to sit out for? Okay, I want to get in this thing now.
So this season for the Prediction League is only running till the end of the year, and then it will be changing up for a new season, which will then end up being 3 or 4 pay-per-views long, so that the season is constantly rotating. If you missed a season, you don't have to wait a whole year to get back in. If you're only just finding out about it, as you said now, the season doesn't run much longer. So it will then refresh. We'll have a new season. Points will be reset for everybody. And then we'll go ahead and do it all again. I believe there may even be a prize for the winner of the Prediction League, which I got informed the other day that admins cannot apparently win.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound... It's not that appealing to me then, but I mean, the game itself sounds exactly like fantasy football, if you will. And I've heard lots of things about that fantasy football. Some people say it's as addicting as heroin. Now, am I going to get hooked on this game of yours? Am I going to be fiending in the streets, scratching myself, sucking dick for the next round? Or is this safe? Is this kid friendly?
This is definitely safe. This is definitely kid friendly. That's why we did not let you into it. The way that this works. Sorry, no, man.
That's why I'm going to create a fake account, and I'm going to join this league anyways.
So the way that this all works out is when the next pay-per-view is coming up, you will get a reminder through the Facebook. If you're already signed up to our website, you get an email blast reminding you to get your predictions in. So you can't really forget to do it. You do get reminded about it. It's very easy to do. And I find that it creates a lot more buzz for a pay-per-view because you're more invested in it because of your predictions. you're finding matches that you weren't interested in, you are keeping an eye on to see, oh, I got points for that one. So I find this an extra layer of getting more passion for wrestling.
And now I know you said that Anarchist was the creator of this website and whatnot, and I do know that he does have his degree from Hogwarts. Being that he did graduate from Slytherin, is he Voldemorting around on this website? Do we have to be aware of any kind of dark arts lurking? Like, do I need to have my Patronus with me when navigating this website, or is this Muggle friendly? Is this a safe site?
It is 100% a safe site. It's definitely Muggle friendly. It's definitely somehow Sluglord friendly as well.
Oh, I'll find a way, baby.
Worry about everything.
I always do.
So that is our website. That is our prediction league. If it does sound like a good deal of fun to you guys, look out for the next season, and please do get involved. The three of us will be in the league. If you feel that you can beat us, come and try it. As I said, I'm currently sitting at number 1. I don't think anybody's going to knock me off my pedestal by the end of the season.
That's only because I wasn't allowed to join. I'll be seeing you in the new season, friend.
Okay. There we go. So that is our website. That is all of our social media. As we said, look forward to more that we're doing, more videos coming out on YouTube. The posts that always go live on Facebook, posts that always go live on Twitter. You can tweet us. You can comment on our Facebook.
Go ahead
and send us messages through YouTube, everything.
Give a twiddle on that twatter, or whatever the kids say with the Twitter. And, Twitter's us. Twitter's us and we'll Twitter's you, okay?
Well, it would be tweet us, Slug. I know you're not from this century, but it would be tweet us at P4 Wrestling. If you have anything that you want to ask us, anything that you want to suggest, you know where to get us.
Absolutely. And then we also, on these podcasts, it's not always just going to be about what's going on the page. We also touch on wrestling, being that we are a wrestling page. And some wrestlings did happen this past week. Some wrestlers wrestled, and wrestling happened, as the kids say. That is a saying in the streets, and I've heard it before. And SmackDown 1000 also happened, and some wrestlers wrestled on that show, didn't they?
They did indeed. As you said, it was the 1000th episode of SmackDown, and there was a lot of familiar faces lurking about. They played a lot of video packages from past SmackDown moments, which made me really happy because they had a lot of Eddie Guerrero in these video packages. As you two both know, Eddie Guerrero is my favorite of all time, so that was nice to see.
No Jericho.
There actually was no Jericho.
Yep, no Jericho. That's one thing I did notice, but we know that he's doing his thing with New Japan, so one has to wonder if that had an effect on his appearance for SmackDown 1000, or if he was just too busy to be in town.
Yeah, Jericho is obviously promoting the Cruise of Jericho at the moment, so we will forgive him for not making SmackDown 1000 even.
That's fair.
We did have a video package from The Rock, another video package from John Cena, obviously two big megastars that are both synonymous with SmackDown. We even had the return of a very important gentleman to SmackDown, as Truth TV hosted all three McMahons. That's right, Vince McMahon did return on Truth TV for a dance break.
I did see that. I did see that Vince seemingly enjoyed himself out there, as did Shane O'Mac. But who wouldn't enjoy themselves dancing with the beautiful Carmella, am I right?
Indeed. It was quite concerning how amazing that was, that Vince dancing with R-Truth and Carmella. We then moved on, where we had an amazing match between Daniel Bryan teaming with his crown jewel opponent AJ Styles to take on the Usos. And as so often happens in these matches where feuding partners, where opponents are then feuding, are teaming, the miscommunication between Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles eventually broke down the team, allowing the Usos to pick up a victory over the WWE champion and his number one contender, which for me is huge for the Usos to go forward from picking up this victory. We're moving on. We had another talk show segment where you had Edge. Edge was returning to SmackDown Amazing to see. Synonymous with SmackDown is Edge. He hosted the Cutting Edge with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. He essentially gave Becky Lynch a little bit of a talking to about if you burn every bridge, you'll be unhappy with yourself. Becky Lynch told him that she loves herself. Charlotte came down. They got in a scuffle, as always happens. I know the man in the shadows is agreeing with me here because he's a big fan of Sheamus. Just to explain that, our man in the shadows is a big Becky Lynch fan, and I wind him up all the time.
Who wouldn't be a big Becky Lynch fan? She's killing it lately.
She is definitely killing it lately. I just like to wind up our man in the shadows. It's too fun.
And
so it was an amazing segment.
There was also an Undertaker appearance. Am I right?
Yeah, there was a very short Undertaker appearance.
Now, his little last stint, his farewell tour, if you will. It's like watching like an old rock star's last show after he's been touring for like 10 years past when he should have stopped touring. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
WWE is definitely going to look back at the retirement of Undertaker, and I don't think it's going to be seen as like gracefully done. You know, I don't know what the perfect retirement for Undertaker is, but this like parading him around all throughout the year, just for these like cheap pops and stuff, he's just really become a parody of himself this year, and it's weird to see as a wrestling fan from way back in the day. It's just odd to see the Undertaker like this or whatever. You know, it's just it's like watching the last of a certain kind of animal before it goes extinct or something like that. And they're just parading it around like he's I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. We're seeing a dinosaur in real life as it's about to go extinct, and this flame is just like barely holding on.
Yeah, the way that I'm thinking of it is, I look at it very much like Mick Jagger. Like, just stop touring. The Stones are ancient. Just retire, please.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones were around back when we were driving on Rolling Stones. That is a fact.
I'm a big fan of the Rolling Stones. I like a lot of their music, but it gets to the point where you're like, just please stop.
Yep, and that's the same with the Undertaker. He goes out there, he gives us some of the old hits in his matches. You know what I mean? He gives us the Rest in Peace. You know, that's obviously the ballad now, and people go out there, they take their pictures, but I mean, he's a shell of the greatness that he once was. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad to see.
I definitely agree. That's a great segue as well, without even meaning to do it. Talking of someone who is a shell of their former great, we had a shocking return. It wasn't very shocking at all. The Big Show was back on SmackDown 1000. And
did he do how many heel turns? How many heel and face turns did he do on this show?
He came out as a face and turned heel.
Go figure.
He actually, I know. I mean, Mark's heel turn
25.
He has had more heel turns than I have holds.
Yeah, that's probably fair to say at this point. You know, he is a master at the heel/face turn. Is Big Show.
He is. The only thing I enjoyed about his heel turn segment was when he came down, we were halfway between a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match where the New Day were defending against the Bar. The Bar were beating down one of the members of New Day. Big Show's music hits. You think he's coming down to take out Cesaro and Sheamus for some strange reason. He instead chokeslams Kofi Kingston through the announce table. Kofi was the non-participating member in this match, distracting Big E, who then got Bro kicked, and the Bar are your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, just three white guys teaming up on a couple black guys beating them down. Yeah, that's okay in 2018. Come on, get with it. No, I'm just joking with you guys. But yeah, I did see Kofi go through the table, and Big E's facial reaction was pretty hilarious afterwards. He looked pissed, and then he really did eat that bro kick. I feel sorry for anybody who has to take that bro kick from Sheamus, because we all know that he's really throwing that. You're really going to eat a boot if you don't tuck that chin.
Yeah, Sheamus is obviously by characteristic a bit stiff, but yeah, fantastic. And Big E, as you said,
pause on that. Pause.
Big E,
Anyways,
as you said,
anything else
timing,
notable
surprising.
happen?
We had a segment from Evolution, all 4 original members of Evolution in the ring. Quite some funny moments in between. Batista was actually pretty good. I enjoyed Batista saying about, like, Randy Orton has more talent in his pinky than most of the guys in the back. Saying about, he could tell you some stories about Ric Flair. And Rick quickly, shh, don't say anything. Yeah. Obviously, we all know Ric Flair's storied history.
I've heard some things.
He then landed on Triple H and said about Triple H being the business, being the man that runs this business, the man that is all about this business, a 14-time world champion, and he has done everything in this business. And then Batista exclaimed that with, except beat me.
So you know what that means.
Then we had a face-off. Then they both laughed and hugged. And it was like, oh, planting the seed. Yeah. WrestleMania 35. You heard it here
Batista's going to eat that loss, baby.
Yeah, he will.
Got to get trips over.
But yeah, it was. I quite enjoyed the show. There weren't very many matches because they were more focusing on the story of it being 1,000th episode of SmackDown. And I do want to end this on a sour note, talking about SmackDown 1000, because we had the last 2 qualifying matches for the Crown Jewel World Cup. So going into this episode of SmackDown, there were 6 people already qualified. All 6 are American. And the final 2 matches were Rey Mysterio versus Shinsuke Nakamura and The Miz versus Rusev. So you finally had a chance to get at least 2 international stars into a World Cup. And instead, both Americans won. So it's not really the Crown Jewel World Cup. So instead, here at Passion for Wrestling, we will now refer to it as the Crown Jewel US Open.
Well, you know what? It's probably because the United States failed to qualify for the actual World Cup this past year. This past one, so now this is kind of throwing it in your guys' face. Well, now look at this. You know what? You guys can't qualify for our fucking World Cup. Go sit on the sidelines and watch, okay? Go get your popcorn ready, Jimerson.
Yeah, it's no longer the World Cup. It's now the U.S. Open. That's how this is.
Arguably a bigger deal. But anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways.
As you guys can tell from how this podcast is going, we do like to have a lot of fun here at Passion for Wrestling, and we hope that you guys will join us in having all this fun. Ultimately, we do this for you. None of us get paid. We definitely don't pay Slug.
Well, you guys don't, but the sponsors. And once again, you guys can have just as much fun as we are. Just go ahead and ask your drug dealer about how you can find some marijuana today. Back to the podcast. Let's go ahead and wrap up SD1000 and wrap up this podcast. And these filthy, filthy marks of ours can get on with their beautiful day.
That is definitely correct there, Slug. So, as I said, SmackDown 1000, I quite enjoyed the show. It wasn't so much a wrestling show. I believe there was 4 or 5 matches total. That was 4. Man in my shadows is telling me it's 4. So 4 matches total, two qualifying matches for the World Cup, 2 tag team matches. And that was your wrestling. For a 2-hour wrestling show was 4 matches. So
wrestlers did wrestle.
Yeah, they focused a lot more on segments. Put in, like, we had the Evolution segment, the Undertaker, the 2 talk shows, video packages. They played at least 4 different video packages.
You kind of come to expect that in these marquee kind of shows. Like for the Christmas show, I'm not really expecting to see a lot of matches. I'm kind of expecting to see more fun kind of stuff like that, you know what I mean? And SD1000, Raw 1000, I kind of just seen those as kind of like a niche kind of show. Like I didn't really care if we got many matches in it whatsoever, but as long as we got, some nostalgic kind of pops out there or whatever, and got to laugh a little and, maybe not be so serious for a couple hours and enjoy a program on TV, then I think that works out for everybody. And from the sounds of it, it seems like you enjoyed it. So it seems like they did a pretty decent job with SD1000.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. They used it to obviously build on the 2 pay-per-views.
On the next one.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely used it to build the 2 pay-per-views which are coming up. We had, obviously, the qualifying matches for Crown Jewel. We had the tension between AJ and Bryan coming up for Crown Jewel as well. I suspect we'll see the Bar defend their new tag team championships against the New Day, or it may even be a 6-man tag with the Big Show involved as well. That's probably going to be at Crown Jewel. And then, obviously, we also had the Becky and Charlotte feud, adding more flame to the fire, leading into their hopeful main event at Evolution. I do not want to see Ronda versus Nikki main event Evolution. I want to see Becky versus Charlotte main event.
Yeah, I think you speak for everybody on that. I really do want to see Becky and Charlotte at Evolution as well. I hope they get a good amount of time to put on a great match, because I personally believe that Charlotte and Asuka have the greatest women's match in wrestling history with the previous WrestleMania match. And I think that Becky and Charlotte are both fully capable of pulling off just as good of a match.
The best women's match is Bayley versus Sasha from Takeover. There's no argument.
Yeah, that's debatable, and we can maybe bring that up on another podcast for the future. Maybe around Evolution we can debate what the greatest women's match of all time is. I feel like that'd be fitting if we do maybe an all-women's podcast on around that time.
I think we should get Shock in for that podcast. Did enjoy that one.
Yeah, maybe. Is that basically it for the show then today?
That definitely is it for this show. So if you'd like to wrap us up and send us on our way, Slug.
Right on. I believe I can do that. I am used to wrapping things up because these whores, you can't be too safe. Thank you guys for joining us today on the podcast. This has been episode 1 of the P4W Pod. Go ahead and join us weekly. We're going to try to pump out at least one of these a week for you guys. Barring any kind of cancellations from anybody in the team, everybody is busy. And like it was mentioned before, we do this in our spare time for you guys, for entertainment purposes only. And that's what this is all about. This is what wrestling's about. That's what the page is about. So go ahead and join us, join hands, become friends, become best friends even. Like me and Rob, me and Jimerson, it's a little shaky. We're getting there. Okay, maybe one day. But until then, and until next time, have a sweet day, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Passion 4 Wrestling. That is the number 4 across all platforms. Also YouTube. Look for that top 50 video, the Being the Mark series, as well as many other things to come. That is YouTube/Passion 4 Wrestling. See you guys next time. Peace.